It's ball talk. It's ball talk, baby. 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 Baby.
Hello and welcome to the Ball Talk podcast. It is currently 1 p.m. on Thursday, April 15th. I'm your host, John Sock, and today we're lucky to be joined by Arizona State University's finest and my former teammate, Kyle Feit. Kyle, how are you doing, my man?
Good. How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing great. It's so great to have you, man. Like, I'm so happy to finally get you on this pod. For the listeners, Kyle's a great friend of mine, without a doubt, one of the three best shooters I've ever shared a court with. He might honestly be the best off the bounce shooter I've ever played with, period. Like, bar none, and that's counting every NBA player I've ever shared a court with, like even just for scrimmages. I want to have that out there before we got started because I like to give everyone a little bit of background of who you are as a player. The first thing I want to talk about is so we shared time together at IMG. You took your post-grad year there. I took my post-grad year there. I want to talk about your experience there. I remember you busted Anfernee Simons in a scrimmage, all that. You busted Anfernee Simons in a scrimmage. But other than that,
you better be watching this.
I hope he does. Tell me about your experience with the year. Like, where do you want to start? Wherever you want to start with that.
Yeah, IMG was a great experience. I mean, I met lifetime long friends, and the facilities there were great, and the people there were great. The coaching was cool, and the training and everything was really good. It was an overall great experience, and I think the best part about it is, the long relationships that you have that you build,
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, case in point, I got you on this podcast today.
Right.
Case
yeah, and that was 3 years ago. So.
Oh man, it's been a while. I mean, we did that summer hoop group together, and then convinced I decided to join the actual program.
Right.
So you took your year at IMG. And then you committed to Arizona State University, the Sun Devils. You played with Montreal's finest, Lou Gansdor. What made you choose ASU? What went into that process for you?
Well, I was familiar with Arizona State because my sister had went to school there. I liked Coach Hurley and the staff, and they were going to give me an opportunity and stuff. So I wanted to bet on myself and see what I could do out there. Also, it's a great area. It's great weather, great location, and it's a guard program. They play straight guard play. They call it guard U. So that was something that I was definitely interested in.
Definitely that, and I definitely feel you on the weather up here in Canada with our snow up until about a week ago. When's the last time you saw snow? Just because I gotta know. I gotta feel the jealousy right now.
It's been a while. It's really been a while.
I am so jealous. I have no words. So last year COVID hit, but you put your name into the transfer portal. I want to talk about that. What went into the decision to join? Let's start with what went into your decision to enter the transfer portal. What were your thoughts?
Just opportunity. I wanted to find a place where I'd have a bigger opportunity and immediate impact, and be able to kind of play my game and have a bigger leash, and really opportunity.
And so you went into the transfer portal. Ultimately, COVID made everything much harder. I don't imagine you were able to get into the gym with any coaches or anything, any visits or anything like that. You returned to ASU. What went into the decision to come back?
Yeah, so I mean, COVID just had hit. It was kind of the worst time to go into the portal. It was record-breaking numbers in terms of how many players were in the transfer portal that year. So it was really hectic. At that point, we didn't even know if there was going to be a season the next year, and there were so much question marks. So I thought it was the safest bet that I would, come back to ASU. You get that year of eligibility back. So that was a decision that me and my family most felt comfortable with.
And it definitely definitely paid dividends. Getting to work with players like Josh Christopher, Remy Martin, and Marcus Bagley. Just to be surrounded by that much talent. What's it like every day to be able to go at guys like that in practice?
It's fun. Competition is great every day in practice. We compete. It's a lot of great talent, like you said, and it's definitely really fun.
And I know you're always someone that loves to take it to the big time names. I gotta tell this story. It's my favorite story. I promised you I'd tell it before so you could hold it over Ant's head. I want to talk. This is my absolute favorite Kyle Feit story for all the listeners. So, Kyle and I had done a summer camp together at IMG, so we knew each other. And then I went back to Canada. He went back to Florida, and we came back for the start of the year. He showed up on time. I showed up a few days late in a leg brace because being injured wasn't enough. I needed some visa issues too. I hobble onto the side of the court. I'm running a scoreboard with Eric Ayala at Maryland, currently declared for the draft. Good luck, Eric. We need you in the league, man. You're way too good to be not in the league. So Eric was also not playing for some reason. I can't remember. I think he was just like a little banged up for something. No one knew each other yet. It was like day 2. I knew Kyle from the summer. So everyone's running 5-on-5. All the people that aren't injured. So Kyle's team is matched up against Anfernee Simons' team. I look, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be. I'm like, okay, Kyle's about to kill him. Kyle's been going off all day. They walk onto the court. I don't remember who wins jump ball. I don't remember what happens. I know that the first person to get a shot is Kyle. He gets the ball. He dribbles it up from behind half court. He gets like 4 steps behind the NBA 3 and just pulls up, makes it. Ant gets the ball, does the exact same thing, ties the game up. It's 1s and 2s to 11. The game is tied. Kyle's like, okay, gets the ball and does it again. It's 4-2. I look at Eric. I'm like, Kyle's about to kill him. Eric's like, dude, it's Ant. It's not over. Ant's about to take it. I swear, that game, there were 11 shots shot. All of them went in. Final score, 12-10. Kyle hit 6 straight threes to win. Kyle hit 6 and hit 5 in a row. No misses for either of them. It was the most insane game I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen a faster scrimmage with more NBA pull-up threes in my life. So that's just the level of talent that Kyle has always had. He's always been comfortable going against these top guys with no fear at all. Because I mean, at that point, I think Ant was still committed to Louisville, but there was rumblings that he was just going to go straight to the NBA. It didn't scare Kyle at all. Not surprised.
Yeah,
I mean,
you have a great memory. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't even remember all that. But
I remember.
Honestly, from my memory, I thought that he had won, but I don't remember. But no, it was definitely fun competing against Anfernee and all that stuff.
I remember just exploding when you hit that last 3. That was crazy. Eric had his hands on his face. Eric had no idea what was happening. I was losing my mind. I've never seen anything that crazy in my life. It's still my favorite scrimmage that I've ever watched to this day. So I mentioned that story just to put in perspective the amount of talent that you have been able to play with and the amount of talent that you possess beating these top-level guys. Like, besides Ant Simons and Eric Ayala, you've played with Lou Dort, who just had 42 like yesterday, Zylan Cheatham, who's on the Pelicans, 3 draft hopefuls and Marcus Bagley, Josh Christopher, and Remy Martin, guys like Rob Edwards, Trent Frazier. What's it been like to be surrounded by all this talent for so long?
I mean, it's good, and all those guys you mentioned are great people as well. So it's been definitely a good experience. It makes one another better, and it pushes us. And the competition is always fun, and seeing guys' work ethics, and it's just it's fun. It is fun.
That's good to hear. And so one thing I want to ask about is you put your name in the transfer portal again. I mean, this is the most insane transfer portal we've ever seen. I believe there's 1,200 people in the transfer portal, and
Right.
about like a tenth of those people are in the transfer portal and in the draft. There's just an insane amount of movement about to happen in college basketball. What are you looking for being back in the transfer portal? What are some stuff that what are Is it teammates? Is it coaching? Is it getting that push? What are you looking for?
Really, probably a coaching staff that'll give me an opportunity, that'll believe in me, and instill confidence and really opportunity. Opportunity. I want to play right away and make an impact and prove myself. To be honest, that's really what I'm looking for. I don't really care about location and all that stuff. I just want to have a good situation on the basketball court.
Yeah, for that doesn't surprise me at all. I know how you are, and I know how insanely dedicated you are to your craft. Where have you been looking so far? If you don't mind talking about that.
I mean, a few low level schools. I've only been in the portal for about a week, a little over a week, so it's still relatively early. I know it's going to be a process, and I'm just trusting the process and kind of controlling what I can control.
Are you still looking to be surrounded by NBA level talent, or are you like, no, this is my turn. I'm gonna find somewhere where I walk in and I don't need that kind of, not competition, but maybe not competition, but like adversity every day in practice. You're like, it's your time to shine.
Well, I mean, you don't. There's NBA talent all across the country, so I mean, I'm definitely not dodging that. There's guys who go to the NBA from low major schools as well. So, I'm not dodging that. I mean, it's always great to have competition and compete every day, and that's something that I look forward to. So yeah, definitely, just find the right fit, and if the competition is going to be good and there's going to be great talent, that's a plus.
Hmm. Definitely, and I mean, I personally think you could play wherever you go. I mean, 6'4", 215. There's no stopping you. So
Nah, I'm
what's your
like 190.
190? I was gonna say, what's your actual weight? I don't know why ASU put you so heavy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was I loved it. That was hilarious to me. You've always been someone who can guard every position, who can guard up, guard like when I saw 215, I'm like, okay, he might not be 215, but I know you can guard like you're 215.
Yeah, I mean, defense is definitely something I've been working on, and you know, at that side of the floor, it's a lot has to do with effort. So, I try to give 100% effort and not get scored on, and help my team get a stop.
You've always been good for that. Even dating back to IMG, I remember you would always match up. You could match up with anyone, whether it was Eric or Omer, our friend playing in Israel, or Jaden and Jalen, some guys that would be really small forwards by their size. I
Right.
think there was even times where I'd see you guarding DeLazarus, our friend who played at FSW for a little bit. He's about 6'8" and strong as all heck. I want to talk about. I want to take this to talk about a little bit about your friendship with Anfernee. I know you guys are still close from your IMG days. I saw you guys were training together over the last off season. How did you guys become? You guys lived together, right? How did that friendship blossom?
Um. Yeah. I mean. Yeah. Me and Anthony are great friends. We live together. So me, Jaden, Anthony, and Matt Havey, we all live together. And we're all too. Me, Anthony, and Jaden are pretty quiet and to ourselves guys. And honestly, we didn't even talk for the first like week or two living in the same place. I think back, we didn't start talking until like kind of getting comfortable with each other on the court and stuff, and then we developed a great relationship that we still have a great relationship today.
That's good. And I know you've done training with him very often. What's it been like to be able to work with a player of his caliber as often as you've been able to, just to be surrounded by someone who's made it to the place where every and person to ever pick up a basketball wants to be?
Right. No, it's been fun. I actually visited him in Portland couple months ago. So not too long ago, but it's always fun being able to see him and work out with him and kind of push each other and stuff like that. I learn a lot from him. Um, and yeah, it's definitely fun. Yeah.
That's good. I've still have not been able to make the trip out to Portland. I have not been able to find that
Yeah.
time, but hopefully I'll be able to come down. I was supposed to go see him when he was playing in Boston right before the pandemic hit. But then, there was a pandemic and the whole season got canceled.
Right.
I want to talk a little bit about two of your teammates that draft scouts have been kind of freaking out about, just for a lack of information. Josh Christopher and Marcus Bagley. They've been polarizing players. I was wondering if you could talk about Josh Christopher first. I know there was something with his foot, and there was a fight with the coaching staff with that. What was it like for you as a player to be seeing all this?
Well, I mean, Josh is a great kid. He works hard every day. That was actually my matchup in practice, so we'd guard each other every day and compete, which was fun. Great player, great scorer. I think he'll definitely have a good impact and translate over to the NBA really well. What was your second question?
Well, let's take it to let's first take it. What do you see his role at the next level?
Definitely a scorer. He can score the ball at a really high clip. He's a playmaker. He makes a lot of flashy plays. He gets his teammates involved when he has to. But yeah, I think that he'll have a immediate impact, and I hope he gets into a good situation that'll let him kind of have that opportunity and kind of rock out.
I mean, one of your friends was also who I had very high on my draft boards, also kind of fell off draft boards and fell low on draft boards, and then found a situation for himself in Lou Dort. So you know more than most how important it is to have a good situation when you're getting drafted.
Yeah, and Lou Dort is one of those guys. He just needed an opportunity, and he puts the work in every day, and that opportunity came and he was ready for it. And you see he blew up in the bubble guarding James Harden, and his defense is extremely good, and great lateral quickness and great size. And, the kid works hard every day. So I'm definitely super happy for him.
Yeah, it's a shame that we don't have Chaz here. Chaz is probably the biggest Lou Dort fan on the planet. We're a very pro Lou Dort podcast. We love putting on for other Montreal players.
Right.
One thing I remember at the end of the season, there was you posted something about it because Josh Christopher posted something about it. There was he was missing some games, and apparently the coaching staff was mad and the fans were mad. What was that like? I have never played at a high enough level to even understand fans being mad that you're missing a game. When at my level, we don't even have Twitter.
Yeah, well, I don't think the coaching staff was mad. I mean, he was hurt. He got it. I think he injured his back. I'm not sure specifically, but yeah, he was hurt, and I guess it ended his season. At that point, it's kind of he was doing what he felt was best for him, and his family felt was best for him, and get him ready for the next level. So, I support him.
Yeah, another one of your teammates also kind of struggled with injuries. It was Marcus Bagley. Now, draft guys have been really confused by him. He was supposed to be a 4-year guy, and then he blew up his senior year as a one-and-done guy, and he's looked really good this year, but struggled to get on the floor. What do you think his role would be at the next level? How was he as a player? All that. Like, you've had a better look at him than almost anyone else.
Yeah, Marcus he shoots the ball at a really high clip. Has great size, great athleticism. I think he's like 6'8", probably has a 40-something inch vertical. Super mobile. He could guard multiple positions. He can guard guards. He can shoot from very long distance. Good range. He could defend, like I said. His IQ of the game is good. He picks up. He's a fast learner.
Do you see him as someone who will make an immediate impact, or someone who might take a year or two to get ready, but he's worth investing in? I personally have him high on my draft board. I'm going to put that out there.
Yeah, definitely worth investing in. And then again, that kind of determines what situation he gets into. So if he gets into a situation where he'll have that opportunity, I think he'll definitely be ready for it. But if he gets into a situation where they have a guy in front of him, I think that that'll make him better as well. So,
Mm.
I mean, he's a easygoing kid, and you know, he's another kid who's him and Josh both are all basketball. You know, they're very focused kids. So, I mean, I think they'll both have great success.
And hearing that they're very focused, hearing that they're basketball kids from someone like you, who's probably the de facto basketball person. When I think of people who are obsessed with basketball, I think of you. So that means a lot to come from you. I feel like we've been a lot on your teammates. I want to talk back to you. I want to talk about your goals for next season, your goals for this offseason from an improvement standpoint. Not I want to find a good team. I want to talk about you. What are you trying to get better on this offseason? What are you trying to do next season? What's your plan as a player?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to keep my game sharp. You know, athleticism wise, you know, you can always improve in that aspect. So I kind of get after it in that. Um, Shooting the ball, consistency, um, you know, getting to the basket, finishing through contact. Definitely the ball screen, reading the ball screen and stuff like that is something that you know is very important. So especially in the next level, is very big in the NBA. So that's definitely something I want to focus on as well.
Awesome.
As well as you know, put on strength and size and
Mm,
um and good weight.
mm.
You know.
It's 215 next year. No, no. So you mentioned the NBA. Is that your plan after graduation to go straight to the league? Are you someone who also weighs the possibility of going to Europe and then finding his way to the league, or just someone who wants to find some way to play basketball professionally for the rest of his life? Like, what are you weighing when you're looking at the next? Are you even too far away? I mean, I think you have 2 or 3 years of eligibility with the free year and all that.
Yeah, right. Which is kind of crazy, but yeah. I mean, obviously, 100%. I would want to play at the highest level possible, and you know that'd be a blessing. You know, to get paid doing what you love to do every day. So obviously, the NBA and is my childhood dream and something that I've wanted to do since I was like 5 years old. So that would be awesome. But you know, being paid to play is a blessing anywhere.
Definitely. I've had a few friends that have gone pro, and they echo that sentiment. They're just happy to be doing something like this as a full-time job. What are some of your favorite memories as a basketball player? I mean, you've done a lot. You went to the tournament. You went to the, not the Geico tournament, the
The
prep
NCAA
tournament,
tournament.
the NCAA tournament. You've achieved a lot of success as a player.
Uh,
What are some of your favorite moments?
there's so many of them, you know, and a lot of the moments, you know, people don't see. Looking back on, you know, those tough practices and uh, the times with your teammates, those are always fun. IMG, I had a great time. You know, we were super close as a team and stuff, which is with a great group of guys. So that was really fun. Making March Madness was a great experience. You know, I made it my freshman year and my sophomore year, so that was awesome. Um, yeah, I think those were my favorite experiences and moments looking back.
That's Yeah. I mean, those are some great moments that I would hope that I'm happy that you got them, and I know that everyone wishes that they could have them, and no one deserves them more than you. I know how hard a worker you are and how hard you work for it every day. I know you have to get running, so I just want to say thank you so much again for coming, Kyle. It was an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me anytime.
And for all the listeners, please, we'll tag Kyle. We'll make sure to post about where he's going and all that. Do not worry, we'll keep you updated on him. And everyone, thank you so much for listening. Please keep liking, subscribing, rating, and reviewing. Follow the Instagram at Ball Talk Official. And until then, thank you for tuning into Ball Talk. All right, hello and welcome back to the Ball Talk podcast. We just had a great interview with ASU Sun Devils' own Kyle Feit. And now we got Chaz back. Chaz, how are you doing, my man?
You know who it is. I'm good. I'm upset I missed the Kyle Feit interview. It is what it is. The schedule, didn't work out, but I'm sure it'll be a good one. I'm excited to listen to it coming out tomorrow morning on Ball Talk.
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. I love having Kyle. Always good to have my old buddies on. For the viewers, it's currently around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, still Thursday, April 15th. And we're going to talk about LaMarcus Aldridge, Jamal Murray, and then whether these injuries open spots in the playoffs or not for a new team to rise up into the title discussion. Get that as a snippet. Anfernee going to love that little face I made. LaMarcus Aldridge, unfortunately, has announced his retirement from the NBA effective immediately due to an irregular heartbeat. He has not played since April 10th. I feel horrible for him. I feel horrible for him. He was a 7-time All-Star and a 5-time All-NBA selection. And obviously, he's not dead. Don't get me wrong. This isn't like I got really somber right there. And like, no, he's fine. He's going to stop playing basketball. He's going to get that fixed. I really hope.
Yeah.
He was an absolute bucket. I know a lot of people like kind of forgot who he was as a player, but he used to be an absolute bucket on some great Portland teams. He got plenty of good games for the Spurs, and he has the single game scoring record against the OKC Thunder at about 56 points, if I remember right. But he's a real hooper, and his game, I mean, that mid-range, he had a crazy little mid-range game going on for a long time.
Yeah, we might honestly not see someone like LaMarcus Aldridge with that same mid-range game for a long, long time in the NBA until they change the three-point rule. I don't know if anyone's going to come out shooting it the same way he did.
I mean, you mentioned the rule change, and I mean, like that brings up a very sad discussion that I think needs to be had. Well, for one, there will probably never be another LaMarcus Aldridge. LaMarcus Aldridge was the last of a dying breed. Him and DeMar DeRozan as mid-range specialists. Last of a dying breed. It is, it's always sad to see him go. But just with the way the game is right now, we will probably never see another player with a game like LaMarcus Aldridge. And that verticality rule really, the go-to example for someone whose career was ruined by the verticality rule is Roy Hibbert. But LaMarcus Aldridge is someone whose legacy has been completely changed due to it. He was one of the best players in the league leading up to 2014, desired by every team. He was his 2016, 2015 free agency was an absolute spectacle of teams going all out and embarrassing themselves trying to get him. Mainly the Phoenix Suns embarrassed themselves trying to get him with that signing Tyson Chandler before they signed him. But whatever, it's fine. But one thing that's really a sad thing to talk about is that he's probably it might be insensitive to say it right now because he just announced his retirement this morning. Maybe we should wait for the chicken to cool down or whatever. But I mentioned it in the past. He's probably going to become one of the best players of all time to be forgotten about in NBA discourse. It's a hard discussion to have because the best forgotten players of all time will be like forgotten part of but he definitely is the best player of the last 20 years that won't be remembered for being as good as he was. And I was really hoping, as much as I didn't want the Nets to win, I was kind of really hoping that he'd find his way to a ring over the next few years to put a little bow on top, the same way that Dwight Howard and Rajon Rondo were able to last year and all the goodwill that bought them. It would have been nice for LaMarcus to get his own legacy cementing ring, having a series that defined him.
Yeah.
Some sort of playoff moment, because that is something that he really, lacked. He had some good games in Portland, don't get me wrong, but never the one time he made it out of the second round, he got swept and blew an absolutely embarrassing lead in what could have been, not looking back, it would have been a legacy-defining series for him. The Spurs 2017, if I remember, Spurs Warriors series where Kawhi goes down. Just winning one of those games would have been absolutely huge for his legacy, and it's kind of sad he didn't.
No, I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge, he's one of those guys that a lot of people bring up in what I like to call, or what I've heard called, the Hall of Very Good. Like one of those guys who's going to hopefully be remembered amongst NBA fans and amongst guys, especially in the Portland community. I know I saw Dame this morning advocating for them to be retiring the number 12. I don't know how we feel about all that, given the lack of anything that he brought to the city in terms of championships or making it far into the playoffs. But he is like their third all-time leading scorer. and the all-time leading rebounder for the Trailblazers. He had great years. So don't let our solemn attitudes distract you from the fact that we both love LaMarcus Aldridge and love watching him play for his years in the NBA. He was an absolute dominant force on either block, especially his left block, his little post fade off the glass. There's just nothing you could do about it, and he'd been doing that for a long time. And I know he had to take this time. Apparently, he's had this irregular heartbeats since he was in high school, and it's just, from the stories I heard, he said it just really felt a lot worse a couple of weeks ago, and he went home and had to be rushed to the hospital. He was really unsure about himself, and he's taking this time out, retiring, so he can make sure that he's healthy and lives the rest of his life and is able to take care of his family, because he got children, a wife and people at home that love him and care about him. So as much as us as NBA fans are going to miss seeing LaMarcus Aldridge on the floor, obviously this is the best thing for him, and I'm going to be much happier to see the next 40 years of LaMarcus Aldridge than having to have seen something tragic happen on an NBA floor for him to be out there playing. So it's unfortunate that we won't see him. I hope if Brooklyn ends up going all the way, I'm sure he's going to end up getting a ring this year, and it'll be nice to see him at that ceremony. And if not, I'm sure he'll find his way back into the NBA some way, somehow, as a coach, as a mentor, just a guy hanging around, because the NBA is going to miss someone who had this keen mid-range knowledge of LaMarcus Aldridge. Not many guys coming up or know that much about how to get buckets off the glass the way he does.
Well said. Better than I could say it. Really well said right there. There will never be. There will probably not be another player like LaMarcus Aldridge for a long time. And it's just, I'm happy we caught this. I'm happy that he caught this before something horrible happened. You hate to think of the alternatives, especially we had Karis LeVert this year already, who had that scary situation, and Chris Bosh not all that long ago, who had his scary situation with the blood clots. It's absolutely, it's terrifying to think of the bad things that the horrible things that could happen on the court that we've been fortunate enough to. I don't think we've ever seen, like at least recently.
Yeah, it's pretty rare.
It happened in the past. I can't remember the player's name, which is horrible on my part. But thankfully, we haven't had any horrible accidents happen on the court, and that's really, really something awesome. And all right, I really hate this next discussion that we're going to have, almost as much as I hate having to talk about what LaMarcus Aldridge's legacy is so quickly after he retired, but we have to have it. We have to have this discussion. The LaMarcus Aldridge retirement definitely hurts the Nets for the regular season. But honestly, does it hurt them in the playoffs? I'm gonna throw that to you, Chaz. I mean, I'll throw my 2 cents in, but
I mean, what I think for the Brooklyn Nets really in the playoffs, LaMarcus Aldridge is going to bring them a little bit more switchability than a lot of their other center looks do. Like, as much as DeAndre Jordan and Nick Claxton are great.
I'm not going to give you
offensive switchability. Offensive switchability. I mean, his
ability to qualify that. I'm like, LaMarcus Aldridge couldn't guard a fly. Come on.
I mean, his ability to be versatile on the offensive end. Sorry, switchability was the wrong word, but his ability to make shots and his versatility all over the offensive end, inside and out. I think it brings something that the Brooklyn Nets don't have a lot of. I know Jeff Green isn't the greatest pick and popper. He does it. But I think if you look at all their other big man minutes, it's going to be going to DeAndre Jordan, Nick Claxton, Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin can shoot the spot up 3, yes. The other 2 are really just dominant role guys. And I think LaMarcus Aldridge is going to give him a little bit of a 15 to 18 to 12-foot game that allows Kyrie and Harden and KD to work off that pick and roll a little bit differently, because you play that differently as a switch and a help defender, because LaMarcus, if you just give him that midi all day long, he will drop 30 on you just shooting that mid-range. And it's just a little bit different for if you go against a guy like Joel Embiid, for sure, to have his size that's not there and to be able to bring people away from the paint. But I don't think they're going to suffer that much. Like we said, there's not a lot of minutes to go around on this Nets team. So him not being there is going to be a look that they will be missing and that they won't have. I'm sure they would have liked, but they've got plenty of other lineups and things that they can do. They shouldn't be too affected in their quest.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to go out and say, like, one thing that I've noticed with Steve Nash is he's happy. If his players are going to get on him, he's happy to try what they suggest and then point out that it sucks. Like that one game where he started Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. And, I could tell from a million miles away, like, nope, that's never going to work. It didn't. We haven't seen it since. Why? I think he had to do it for the players. I think that LaMarcus Aldridge was going to wind up hurting them more come playoff time than helping them. And that Lakers game was a very telling story for me of how unplayable LaMarcus was going to be in a Joel Embiid matchup. If Andre Drummond was going to manhandle you like that, Joel Embiid would have 50 on you because Joel Embiid would have 50 on everybody.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, maybe my hot take would be it's more important to get Nick Claxton out there for more minutes and Uncle Jeff out there for more. I mean, I don't think you really need to give Uncle Jeff more minutes. He's ready to go. He's TTG. He's trained to go. He's not worried. Someone get the Waka Flocka song playing. He's ready no matter what. But Nick Claxton needs those minutes so much, especially because I guess he's their go-to Embiid stopper.
At this point,
know that I've thought about. I don't know that I've put that in perspective yet, but I guess it's him and Blake Griffin and
I think
Brown
at DeAndre
6'6".
Jordan.
Like, I don't know. I wonder if DeAndre Jordan still keeps picking up DNPs now that LaMarcus Aldridge is gone.
Well, he's played the last couple games now with LaMarcus sitting out, and he did pretty well the other night when they did play the Sixers. Like, they just played last night, and with everyone out except for Kyrie was the only one playing of the big three for the...
Yeah, but they were missing like 7 people that game. I was more getting out. It was once their full squad. I wonder if DeAndre Jordan is still going to be getting minutes. But that's also not a huge question in my eyes. I really do think that come playoff time, Nash is going to run it based on matchups. But we still have to see. I was listening to an interesting conversation on the John Hollinger and Nate Duncan podcast. They need a better name, by the way, than the Hollinger-Duncan podcast. But I love it. It's great. I mean, John Hollinger is awesome. So is Nate Duncan. But they were talking about how good a coach Steve Nash was, and they both had him in their top 10, and I thought that was kind of interesting to have him in their top 10 so quickly because...
His first year?
Yeah. But then, like, I thought about it, and I looked at the rest of the guys on the list, and I was like, it's not a bad take in my eyes. I mean, the only one part that I didn't like was they had Nash above Michael Malone. I was like, that's a little hot take. But Nate Duncan was very low on Michael Malone. I think Hollinger had him like one spot below, and I'm like, why not? Why not?
I don't know. It's his first year. He's got one of the best
discussion.
teams ever assembled, so it's hard to give him enough of his praises right now.
I'm pretty sure that Duncan had Steve Kerr below Steve Nash, and I was like, they're the same coach, dude. It's the same situation that we saw with Steve Kerr, and now it's with Steve Nash, and you're gonna put Nash ahead of Kerr. That was one of the. I had questions with Duncan's was questionable, but I love the discussion. They always have really interesting discussions on that pod, I find. Moving on from promoting a podcast that doesn't pay me, we're going to talk about the next stat injury because it's just, we had a great interview and now we got to talk about that sad stuff. We got to talk about Jamal Murray's injury. It's devastating. The worst part is it's not just like, oh, it's a season ender. It's an ACL. And because of the push of this season, assuming we're back onto the regular schedule for next season, he's going to be out until next year's playoffs.
At least.
At least. Maybe you might get a couple of weeks before. It depends on how fast the rehab is, if he rehabs right, if what he does. You get on that ATG method, Jamal Murray, I'll set you up. DM me. I got you. It's not great.
Yeah. It's definitely a bad look right now, and obviously the prayers go out to Jamal, and I hope he's gonna rehab and come back better. We know hardworking Canadian boy, he's gonna put all of his heart and soul into trying to come back as hard and better than he was before. But I'm sure he was getting excited for this run down the stretch for the Nuggets. I know he was trying to turn it up, and an injury like that, a guy coming off of knee soreness for the past couple of weeks and down 9 with a minute to go in a fourth quarter, just playing your hardest to try to come back and win a game in the Western Conference. It's a brutal one to see him go down in a situation where maybe 2 months ago he wouldn't have been on the floor. In another season, it might have been Monte Morris there, and it might not have been the same knee injury because he didn't have the same problems going into it. But I digress. All of that to say, Jamal, get well soon. We're excited to see you back on the floor. but it's going to be a long process. Hopefully he's sitting there in his wheelchair shooting free throws and jump shots and making sure that top part of his form is super perfect for when he gets back to moving.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I want to talk about, again, I just want to talk about this for the Nuggets. And I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to be positive. Positive. I don't think this is necessarily the end of the Nuggets this season. Yes, it's not good. Yes, Jokic losing his favorite two-man game partner is very bad. Yes, losing their best guard, very bad. Yes, their guard depth was already pretty suspect. It's not good. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's good. They signed Austin Rivers. I will argue that's good till I'm blue in the face. Love me some Austin Rivers. But it does hurt their championship hopes. But I'm not out yet. If Michael Porter Jr. steps up and balls out in Murray's absence, which he's been doing while Murray's been out with his other knee injury, I could see this Denver Nuggets team still making the NBA Finals. Nikola Jokic is a top 5 player in the league, and Michael Porter Jr.'s ceiling is literally the highest in the entire NBA. His ceiling is like Kevin Durant, but like, he's not injured. So his ceiling is Kevin Durant last year. His ceiling it might even be higher than that. He is such an explosive athlete too. To add to it, I find him a more explosive athlete than Kevin Durant.
I mean, he doesn't have the handle or the finesse the same way KD did to his game.
I'm not saying he's just gonna magically become KD overnight. Don't get me wrong.
He's definitely a better leaper though.
He's got the highest ceiling in the entire NBA right now. Aaron Gordon still provides needed defense for this team, and he's no slouch on offense. They've got other pieces that are still good. I love me some Facu Campazzo. If they get a lucky roll of teams, I think they could go all the way. I think now they are praying for a Clippers game.
Yeah, I guess.
A team that doesn't have an elite point guard to expose that they don't have Jamal Murray. But I think that there is a road for the Denver Nuggets to make their way through the West, get lucky with teams getting out, lucky with teams getting injured, lucky with teams falling apart, and Michael Porter Jr. stepping up. I'm putting this. Michael Porter Jr. has the ability to just step up and be a bucket. If he does, I am not out on this Nuggets team. I'm putting that out there.
I'll say this Nuggets team definitely still has a shot. They got a lot of talented players on this roster. I mean, Nikola Jokic, clear MVP frontrunner right now, and this should do nothing but bolster his case if he continues putting out big numbers and they continue winning games down the stretch of the season. Michael Porter Jr., definitely one of the young guys in the NBA with definitely the brightest futures. I'd have to go up and down a list and think if he had the highest ceiling, but I'll let you say it now and we'll think about it later because he is definitely one of those guys who, with his size and his frame, the way he could shoot the ball and go score offensively, provides a lot of help for that Denver Nuggets team, especially with what Jamal usually does for them. As he's not necessarily the best facilitator at the one, he's more of a scoring guard. So I could see how Michael Porter Jr. can help them in that role. But I do think they are just it's such a big piece for them, especially the way he played in the playoffs and what he meant for them coming through their games and the way he carried himself in the bubble. Like we heard how he spoke and how he clearly carries himself throughout the gym. And it's an important factor on a team. I think they're going to be missing that a lot. Nikola Jokic has never really seemed to be the most vocal and big-hearted of leaders in a media sense. He's more of a quiet, friendly guy, and I'm sure he's a great teammate. I just mean he's not going to be out there doing every single interview the way Jamal Murray was. And I think that for this Nuggets team to get to the NBA Finals at this point, it's going to take a severe amount of luck. A severe amount of luck.
Battle, don't get me wrong.
And Aaron Gordon, I mean, he played really well in this first game without Jamal Murray the other night. So the signs are pointing up, but he's struggled a little bit with his shot and offensively starting here. So he's going to need to pick it up very quickly. Monte Morris, another one of those great bench guards in the NBA, but to fill the shoes of a playoff Jamal Murray, there's going to be a lot of guys who are going to need to step up in a major way for this Denver Nuggets team.
Fully agreed. Now a lot of people have been talking about how this injury is really bad for the Nuggets because it doesn't give them a chance to evaluate their core before Gordon and Porter hit free agency. And I just want it on record that I think that's silly. How about that? I wasn't gonna get too aggressive. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't know where this narrative came from that they don't want to pay Aaron Gordon. They gave up R.J. Hampton and a first-round pick and Gary Harris. Gordon's going to get whatever contract he wants from the Nuggets. Whatever. Nuggets will pay the tax for this team. That was solidified the moment this trade was made. The moment they gave up R.J. Hampton, they knew that they were going to be paying for this team.
Yeah.
It's not a discussion now that Murray is injured. They're not like, oh no, are we going to pay Gordon? You made the trade. They're going to pay Gordon. They're not letting him walk. They're not letting him. That's what a lot of these analysts forget that really just frustrates me. There's no reason to let Aaron Gordon walk. They're going to be capped out. They can't sign anyone else. They're going to pay him. They're
Jamal
going
Murray
to pay him. When the Philadelphia 76ers overpaid Al Horford, and then he kind of struggled with them, they traded him for Danny Green. Danny Green has been a serious part of their team this year. Sometimes you have to give a guy a contract just to trade them. Myers Leonard got a contract just so he could get traded. Just so he could get traded.
If Danny Ainge was smart, Nick Batum would have gotten one too.
Thank you. Oh.
No,
You're gonna start me on this again. You're gonna start me on this again on a Thursday night in April. You're gonna get me started on this again. I am for it. I am for it. Danny Ainge, what were you doing, man? We said it 100 times, though. I can't get on this. But the Nuggets will pay the tax for this team. They made that commitment the moment the trade was made. I don't know where this narrative is coming from. I don't get it. It's completely made up. There's no base to it. I don't get it.
Yeah, no, it's an important statement to make, because once you trade a young guy on a team where you already have two maxed out stars in Jokic and Jamal Murray, like, you know, anyone who's coming to your team right now, if you're giving up future assets for them, it's someone who you expect to stay on your team for an extended period of time, regardless of their contract status at the time of trade. Like, there's no way that they protect Aaron Gordon and they're like, oh well, you know, if he asks for $28 million in free agency, we're just gonna let him go. And it's like, well, now you just have R.J. Hampton, a first round pick, Gary Harris, and nothing. Like, now you just have zero things. So Aaron Gordon's staying on the team, and it looks like, I think this team's going to get better with years to come. Obviously, this could have been a year for them. I don't think it is anymore without Jamal Murray, but all of those guys, I think, are under 26 years old. I have to check Aaron Gordon, but I know that Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr. all are, so they got plenty of years to grow together. If Jamal could come back strong, which he should, and as long as he can try to avoid re-injury and be 100% when he comes back, this Nuggets team's got a very, very bright future.
Just want to say Aaron Gordon is currently 25 years old. He will be turning 26 on September 16th.
There you go. They're all in their 25, I think, then.
They're all, yeah. Now, let's be honest, though. Denver losing Murray, it opens up the playoff picture a lot for other teams. Now there's a big weakness in Denver at the guard position. I'm going to say it again. Personally, I think it's the Clippers' season to lose. Personally, I think that this season is the Clippers' season to lose. It's going to take some bad luck that would be unpredictable for any team not named the Los Angeles Clippers, for the Los Angeles Clippers to not make it out of the Western Conference. But ultimately, the Clippers are the Clippers, and I will... They're cursed. I'm not going to believe in them until I see it, because every time you believe in the Clippers, they embarrass you. So I have no belief in these Clippers until I see it. But I'm okay with saying, look, it's their season to lose. They are the most talented team on paper. They match up well with everybody. They should not lose this year. They should not. Will they? Most likely. Most likely. So now that the Nuggets are injured, who do you think can step up? Who do you think can step up to play in the conference finals, assuming, you know, the Clippers fall apart like always, and the Nuggets now are probably going to not make it all that far? Who do you think is going to be playing in the conference finals, or has the opportunity?
I mean, it's going to be one of those guys who's run away from that curse for his whole career, and it seemed to follow him. But I think with this new team, he's going to be able to put that behind them. A lot of young pieces. It's the Phoenix Suns and Chris Paul, man. I think the Valley Boys Monty Williams has them rolling. I'm pretty sure they might have the best regular season record in basketball if you go back to the beginning of the bubble till now, right? They have the most wins and probably the fewest losses because this Phoenix Suns team has been on fire, continues to be on fire, and continues to win no matter what they seem to go through. And the way that they've added depth to their squad throughout the year with the additions of Torrey Craig and the emergence of Mikal Bridges as a legitimate 3-and-D mold of what kids should be watching and trying to do if they want to secure themselves $20 million in the NBA annually, because Mikal Bridges is about to get that when he re-ups his contract, I think is a dangerous proposition for a lot of teams. You look at a guy like Jay Crowder, who went all the way with Miami to the finals last year, who's been on Boston Celtics teams that battled in the playoffs, a guy with a lot of experience. Chris Paul, obviously, you can't say much else about the point guard himself. He can get a team together, and they all are always going to play well. Devin Booker has played well in playoffs in the past, and I mean playoffs, I mean that 8-game stretch that was basically the playoffs for the Suns because he hasn't ever been to the playoffs, but he played real well in those 8 games for the Suns, and I mean he's shined under the brightest of lights. I expect him to come into the playoffs. Yes, he'll struggle. It's his first year. I understand that this Phoenix team is young, and a lot of people are worried about what it'll be like having to play the same team over and over and over again. And I see that can become an issue, but I think they got a lot of great leadership on that team that can help them get into different looks. They have lots of different pieces they can throw at you to do different things. If people aren't hitting shots or defending right, they got guys to bring in for them. This Phoenix Suns team, I mean, a name I haven't mentioned maybe all year that I still love is doing stuff off their bench, a guy like Javon Carter, point guard who's given them great minutes as just defensive point guard, hard-nosed minutes. He's every single up the floor. He's going to play 6 minutes a game in the playoffs, and it's going to be full court press for those whole 6 minutes. And you know what? That wears the team out a little bit. For teams that are going to be a little bit more injured than Phoenix or have a little bit less depth, having guys like the Phoenix Suns who are going to try to press you the whole game, it's going to be a difficult matchup for a lot of teams. I think, man, this Phoenix team, I put a bet $1 to make 51 on this Phoenix team outright Western Conference champions, and I'll tell you what, I'm waking up this morning feeling very confident about that $51 in my bank account in a couple months.
Very happy for you. Very happy for you on that bet. I mean, I have $1 on the Atlanta Falcons to win the Super Bowl, so I am with you on those long shot bets. I do think that Phoenix has the most open path in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. I also do think it would be wrong of us not to speak at all about Utah. I mean, they're still the number 1 seed. They've kind of fallen off since the
All-Star break.
Since the All-Star break, but they've still been the number 1 seed. They still are the number 1 seed and leading the NBA in everything. Mm-hmm. Quinn Snyder and Monty Williams are neck and neck in my books for Coach of the Year.
Yep.
They still have a 3. Oh no, it's only 1 loss. My bad. They're only 1 loss up on the Suns. They got Donovan Mitchell, a proven playoff killer. Mm-hmm. Rudy Gobert, apparently he's gonna win DPOY. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Time?
Maybe
3 times?
Would it be 3 times back to back? I don't.
Not back to back, I don't think, but he definitely has 2 already.
Oh my goodness. Do we want to do we? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do Ben
this.
Simmons for DPOY.
Please.
Ben Simmons said it best. I got 42 on him, and apparently I'm not a scorer. I'm like, oh my goodness, Ben Simmons, don't come at him like that. The poor man has a family. But yeah, I'd have to agree with you just that Phoenix has these pieces that I think are going to do well in the playoffs. I think that if any team other than the Lakers, the Nuggets, and the Clippers is going to make it, say Denver can't pull themselves together and the Clippers curse hits, then I could totally see it being a Lakers-Phoenix conference finals. And I would love for that Denver to fall apart and the Clippers curse to hit, because I would love to see my Lakers in the conference finals again. I love being able to finally watch winning basketball. For all those that don't know, I started watching basketball religiously 2012, 2013, just in time for the Dwight Howard to the Lakers trade. This past season was the first time I got to watch the Lakers win a playoff game. I don't think there's an older fan than me that hasn't gotten to watch a Lakers playoff win. Oh man, it felt good. Oh man, it felt good to watch that. 8 years of fandom, die-hard fandom, culminating in that. I was so happy.
Yeah. And let me just say, John put out this narrative that's the Clippers season to lose. That's coming from a Laker fan, okay? The Lakers are the defending champions, and they have been hurt, but a lot of people would beg to differ that if the Lakers are 100%, or even both of their guys at 90-95, that this is definitely the Los Angeles Lakers season to throw away right now.
I'm just saying, you've got everyone else injured. No, let's talk about this for a minute. I think we have time. I don't have a clock running. Everyone in the West is injured or has no playoff experience. You're Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. You're Kawhi Leonard. You were supposed to be the best player in basketball last year. That's what I was told. So you playoff P, nicknamed himself playoff. Any guy that would nickname himself playoff P must be a real playoff performer, right? That's why you nickname yourself playoff P. You got playoff Rondo. Anyone who earns the nickname playoff Rondo. I mean, playoff Rondo may or may not show up. I'd love to see playoff Rondo. I'm not gonna rag on him. I love that dude. I can't keep doing this higher than that, whatever act. But they got Rondo, Serge Ibaka, Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, Reggie Jackson just had 30 the other night. Terrence Mann is nice as heck. Luke Kennard can flat out play. Patrick Beverley will be back. And he runs around, Patrick Beverley, you get him on that court, he will be running around. And apparently that counts as defense.
Hey, I mean, as long as he can get one fingernail block on LeBron James in a series, he will have done his job.
What was the Steve Nash thing? Can I get the Steve Nash growling clip right there? I say it like I'm not the one who edits the audio. But no, this team is like absolutely stacked. Like I don't get it. I don't get how they were able to put this level of talent around you guys. Reggie Jackson was a starter.
Yep.
Like Patrick Beverley was a starter. Rondo was a starter. Nick Batum was not a starter, but he's playing really nice. Serge Ibaka was a starter. Zubac was a starter. Who else? Marcus Morris was a starter. Luke Kennard was a starter. Terrence Mann, they drafted him. Like they're a team with two guys that came off the bench before they showed up in Clipperland. And of them, one of them was a rookie when he showed up. 4-year senior at FSU, Tilton Rams legend, Terrence Mann. The other one was on a max contract. You're taking all these guys and you're telling me they aren't the favorite. Like I don't when everyone else is injured, like it's their season to lose. I'm not going to call them the favorite because they're the Clippers though. That's the thing. They're not my favorite because they're the Clippers. I know something horrible is going to happen to them because it always does. That's always fair. Does. It's the most, death, taxes, and the Clippers finding a way to blow it.
I mean, it is true. This Clippers team is stacked. I mean, I honestly think they're probably the favorites to come out of the Western Conference right now. But that's another. I put them at the top of my list on Monday or Tuesday because y'all knew that already. But what can I say for this Clippers team? I mean, they're probably the favorites. Even the other day, without Kawhi or Paul George, they still came out with the dub. But before we close it out, I was watching the Atlanta Hawks Milwaukee Bucks game earlier this evening, and C-Web was commentating on the mic saying that the Milwaukee Bucks are apparently going to look after Joe Johnson as a potential free agent signing because they have a roster spot. And he comes on the game commentary and goes, I just want you to know that anyone who's going after 40-year-old free agents, retired players to sign them isn't a contender in my books. And so we love to see C-Web coming out on smoke like that. And
whoa! Okay, Chris Webber.
And then shout out to all the young women that got drafted into the WNBA this year. Draft was right today. Congratulations to all 30 picks who got drafted, going out to get themselves a little chunk of change and go chase their dreams in the WNBA. We love to see it. Good luck to all of you and all the young women who are going to be dominating the league next year. Can't wait to watch.
Well said. That's a great place to close this episode. That's it for today. I know I did the sign out earlier. That was my bad. Please keep liking, subscribing, rating, reviewing. Follow us on the Instagram at Ball Talk Official. Follow me on Instagram at JZSOCH. And until next time, thank you for tuning in to Ball Talk.
It's Ball Talk. It's Ball Talk, baby. 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 Baby, baby, baby.